What is everybody? Welcome back to Truth and Transparency. Idaho4, Bryan Kohberger and WSU deep dive the documents here. Again, welcome in. Happy Saturday. All right. Okay, I want to take us back to, so this is the Kohberger from WSU. This is the install part 6. This is redacted, and this is page 267. On this search warrant here, supplemental disclosure RE-DNA test. So I have been informed by Detective J.R. Talbot of the Idaho State Police that on November 13, 2022, a sheath was recovered at the King Road residence under or next to the body of Madison Mogan. The Idaho State Crime Lab obtained a male DNA profile, suspect profile, from the sheath. This is also referred to in Sergeant Blaker's sworn statements in Exhibit A. On December 27, 2022, law enforcement agents, officers in Pennsylvania recovered trash that originated from the Kohberger family residence. That trash was sent to the Idaho State Crime Lab for testing. On December 28th, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile was obtained from the trash. It was compared to the suspect DNA profile. The lab personnel concluded that the source of the trash DNA profile was a male and was not being excluded as being the biological father of the source of the suspect profile. This information is being provided to the court pursuant to my duty and obligation to be fully candid with the court. I do not believe this information is exculpatory for the suspect. However, if the court believes it is exculpatory, then the court should consider the supplemental disclosure in its evaluation of the existence of probable cause or lack thereof. But I am specifically asking the court to not consider the supplemental disclosure as evidence supporting the existence of probable cause. So then why would you even mention it? The reason for this request is that if the DNA test results are held inadmissible at some point, such a ruling would not impact the finding of probable cause for this warrant. And that's why you would just leave it completely off. You don't say this. When have you ever read this in your entire life? So long as this court is satisfied as to probable cause, regardless of the DNA test result. And there it is, boom. Don Daniels. Now, so Don Daniels was talking to Detective J.R. Talbot. He's the one that did the crime scene. He's your crime scene specialist with Idaho State Police. It was his crime scene. He's the one that messed up a lot of shit and let Payne mess up a lot of shit. Also, why is Dawn Daniels writing this up? She is the assistant chief of police. Why wasn't like, I don't know, one of their detectives from Washington State University? Now, let's go back and take a look and see what they want from Bryan Kohberger's apartment, right? Okay. Blood, knife, sheaths, any image or digital paper or on any images, whether digital or on paper of any other format which would show the names. Clothing, okay. Look at this. Shoes with diamond pattern sole. Right here. So I'm going to make that bigger for you guys. Ready? I thought that this was police footwear. Right there. Number 4. How about that? Bye-bye. I thought that for this to be put in as late as this was, is why I wanted to go to this one. So I'm going to give you guys this little timeline. December 29th. Okay. It's already been ruled on. It's already been ruled on by the personal investigators, the CSI people that were working the crime scene at the house, that they already considered that diamond pattern to belong to the police. That's why I wanted to go with this search warrant here on December 29th, because December 23rd and whatever the search warrants were that they used on Bryan Kohberger back then. Here, it's now December 29th, and we're still going with this, that we're looking for a diamond pattern, but meanwhile, it was going to be testified to in a courtroom eventually, and everybody knew this, that they were giving no weight. Like they never thought it was a suspect print. Do you see how they'll just make it whatever they want for whatever they're trying to obtain? The inconsistency of using something like, okay, here, I'm going to change it now this way when I want to talk about it in this document that I'm going to file. That's the type of stuff for me that I'm just like, if I was a judge, how could you not see that right off the rip and say, hey, you can't have it both ways. Okay. You just claimed this. Now you're trying to claim it like this. That is the definition of throwing mud to the wall and seeing if it will stick to the wall. And whatever ends up staying, like, okay, we're gonna just, and then, oh wait, here, next time we write it up, we're gonna say it this way. So this shoes with diamond pattern sole, very, very hilarious to me, considering they had ruled in their minds and on their paperwork that the scene was trampled on so bad, right, that we cannot attribute that to a suspect. Okay. Well, December 29th, they were still looking for a diamond pattern sole. Why would Dawn Daniels be writing that? She must have not got the memo. Please. Okay. Now, data compilations, whether digital, electronic, or on paper, or other format showing an interest in or planning of murder, violent assault, all these things, right? And it's about and data compilations showing the location of Bryan Kohberger on November, including Wi-Fi logs and data or metadata associated with photos, social media posts. Okay, well, here we are. What did WSU turn over? Why isn't, as an example, but not intended to be an exclusive list of data compilations being sought, ledgers, paper lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contact lists, diaries, tapes, photographs, videos, emails, text message. Okay, great. Well, electronic, here, you're in his apartment and you guys would have known, hey, you guys just write right here Wi-Fi, including Wi-Fi logs. Remember they running the router from the 1122 King Road house, right? So were they like, hey, well, how's Bryan Kohberger using the internet here? You guys, look what they're asking for. They want stuff in digital format. So we should ask ourselves, why not in this search warrant are we talking about, or if there wouldn't be another one created that we need to serve on WSU? Because we need to be able to get into the server, right? It's pretty wild. When you're writing this up and you're saying you want all these things, and then you would not be putting in, that's like saying you want all the stuff from the 1122 King Road house, but hey, we're not going to ask for the router. We're not going to ask for the modem and the router. What? Can you imagine? Just think about it. Hey, yeah, we never put in for a search warrant to get the router at the 1122 King Road house. Why? They would never say that. They would never do that. They didn't do that. But here, let's go to the guy that we just arrested and let's not get that from him. When you're saying that you think that he did all this stuff with digital shit, he's using his devices. You're asking for Wi-Fi and electronic digital devices, all this shit. Computer towers, laptops, tablets, external hard drives, CD, DVD, thumb drives, or data storage devices. Data storage devices, I mean, everything that would be on WSU's server, that's basically a data storage device, in my opinion. This includes any device which may contain, look at this shit. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of other murders. Look at this stuff. Exactly. You want all this stuff. Moda Man says, this is dumb. Bryan obviously read the fine print and signed up for a VPN to protect himself, and these $120,000 a year cops pretended like it was a mystery. Well, my point is with this deep dive is to talk about the fact that if you want something, okay, you'd have to ask for it in order to obtain it. Okay, they didn't even ask for it. They know they work side by side with WSU all the time. Why wouldn't you be asking for this? Why would Dawn Daniels be the one writing up a search warrant when she's the police chief, right? The interim police chief. Then Gary Jenkins was supposed to be, hey, I'm here. Well, I don't know where the hell you've been. Okay, because before November 14th, you weren't, there was nothing on your calendar. It's like you weren't working. How much money was he making in September, October, and the first 2 weeks of November? How much money did he get paid? Because we have his calendar. He had nothing in it. He didn't do anything. But yet in August of 2022, they said that he was now acting as, he was the police chief. He was taking back over. Yeah, absolutely right. Oh, thanks. Let's see. Information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS, satellite data. You want all this shit. Here we go. IP log, all this shit you want. Or similar internet connection information. Yeah. The moment, I mean, So I went back. I wanted to go and pull this up to see how they worded it again. You know, and I'm just like, wow. Also, passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and or usernames to operate any such device. And that's it. In addition, so there you go. In addition, I am asking the court to authorize, in the service of the search warrant, the use of assistance from any law enforcement agencies from the state of Idaho or the federal government. This is how you know you were fucked. Well, what you guys were hired, or any technical specialist associated with or employed, or contracted with such law enforcement agencies, including but not limited to the Moscow Police Department. See how they, so WSU's like over here saying, hey, we're just serving these because we're gonna just not do any of the work though. We don't want our hands all up in this. We're serving the search warrant, and then we want them to do all the work because we're not. The never-ending case just keeps getting more and more and more and more effed up. They all dirty. They are all dirty. They only care about one thing: their jobs. Their jobs. Their jobs. When I saw his name, that's actually who informed, you know. Okay. So, yippee-ki-yay, right? Let's go down to, well, after this is all like they uploaded all the, okay, let's go to this. Now, here's the search warrant for his office. See, I declare that I have personal knowledge of the matters herein. Did Ann Taylor have Don Daniels? She had Don Daniels on her witness list, right? I would love to know what personal knowledge Don Daniels possessed, because what meetings was Don Daniels in? Where's Don Daniels' calendar? I have personal knowledge of the matters herein and or am relying on witness statements, information provided by my fellow officers. She has no personal knowledge. But here we go. We're going to get into his office. The office is inside Wilson Short Hall. Okay. Let's see. Look at this. He shared an office with these two people, right? Okay. Now they used Dustin Blaker's sworn statement. And in Dustin Blaker's sworn statement, Bryan Kohberger doesn't make that loop-de-loop. He just heads directly back to Moscow. I mean, to Pullman from Moscow, and that's why they thought that his apartment would have all this shit in it. He leaves out the whole loop-de-loo. So again, this is what they say they're looking for, and it's basically like the same thing, the exact same thing. And nowhere in here do they talk about any of. I've never seen to this day any search warrant that's been served on WSU. What search warrant is out there that's been served on WSU? Please point me to the direction of where I can find the search warrant or a search warrant, or possibly more than one, that was served on WSU. Remember, people just serve search warrants out of extra precaution because, hey, zero. I have found no search warrant. None. Tell me when we read this that is supposed to be with, here you go, WSU. Here's the one search warrant I'm giving you, right? But yet where in this search warrant do you have, so maybe if my question wasn't clear, where is there a search warrant for WSU to get into their back end, their server? This entire language was copy, cut, and pasted from the search warrant for his apartment. Right here. IP logs in or similar internet connection information. IP logs and images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates together with their metadata. So right here, would this constitute that? So information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries between the above listed dates. App data or usage information and related location information. IP logs or similar internet connection information. What the fuck is that when you say it like that? And images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates together with their metadata. So it has to be still in his phone. Electronic digital devices or digital storage devices. It says nothing to do with servers, which may contain any of the above data compilations, which is including cell phones, computer towers, laptops, tablets, external hard drives, CDs, DVDs, thumb drives, or other data storage devices, or other. This includes any device which may contain, and so if you're talking about device, there's no device that's going to contain what I'm talking about. Look at these fucking idiots. Like, this is ridiculous. You wrote the same thing. So it's basically like, we want to just go into Wilson Short Hall and say, here, in case any of his shit is in this office, we're looking for it. Anything that can contain this type of material. So nowhere in there does it say, hey, we're serving a search warrant on WSU for the Steptoe Apartments. They have a internet providing service. We need to get access to that server between the dates of this to this. How do we go about that? You know what I mean? Like, come on. No, we can't do that. Yeah, we can. Why didn't they ask for it? Especially, like, why didn't they preserve it? Why didn't they put a preservation order in? The stuff that I saw they did in the Shanna Gardner case to preserve evidence, because they had to wait till they had probable cause, but at least we can go and we can preserve all this evidence, because we think that there was a huge conspiracy between the ex-wife, her new husband, and a bunch of people here, because they were at home when he was killed. But it was right after they, Jared Brightigan dropped off the kids at her house, but she's not the shooter, and they didn't think that he was either, right? So who shot and killed her ex-husband Jared a couple minutes after he left the home when he was driving in his car, and then they put a tire, like, who did all that, right? Well, what they did in that case is they went around and they preserved all of this data for the hopes that we can build into getting the probable cause needed to then have the data. Snapbacks Saturday, love it. I'm over here. Let's raise the funds. Send Detective Land tear shit up. Well, Mr. Jenkins needs to answer a lot of questions that are going to be asked upon him in his deposition that I guarantee you that's going to go down. There's no way that the families are going to not depose him. You want to know what the families just saw potentially for the first time yesterday? They may have already seen it, but potentially for the first time yesterday, they saw this man's calendar, Gary Jenkins' calendar. I think that we couldn't pick our chins up off the floor over here. And the families either saw this just recently because they could have gotten it before everybody because they're doing discovery, turning stuff over. Or they just found out about it yesterday and they're like, wait a second, why does the police chief, he was supposed to be being the police chief in August and he has nothing on his calendar up until the day after the murders? November 14th? Like, wait, what? What was he doing? What was he working on? How are you the police chief? Oh, I think that they are. I do. You guys read their lawsuit. Read their lawsuit, and what their lawsuit is basically claiming that whatever the hell you guys are doing, okay, whatever the hell y'all are into over there at WSU, you have these policies and you're not enforcing them. In fact, like nobody's available to do anything. Well, here, voila, you're paying a police chief and they're not there. Like, where the fuck is the police chief? And remember, I said the only thing that could remotely be like, if you have an answer for that is, oh, that's not the phone I used that they downloaded. That's not the phone I used. I started using that November 14th. Well, I think that's even worse. Okay. Because where's the phone that you used before November 14th? Because there's nothing in his calendar. It was like he was getting paid and wasn't there. Or again, was it like, here, we're just going to lie to the public and say that Chief Jenkins is back and he's just not. But this is gonna be our press release so that we can calm everybody around us and let everybody know that, hey, we got this. It's all good. It's all good in the hood over here. Nothing's all good in the hood over there. Their cops were running around like wild banshees. Anything that walked was getting fucked. Yeah, that's true. True statement. When you have the entire WSU police command room retiring so they can keep their pensions so they don't get fired, not just one, like 4 people. 4 people. And this is right when classes were set to resume. This was in August. So, but going back over what they said they were looking for at Bryan Kohberger's apartment and his office. Why don't you look for what they don't say that they're looking for, that they should be looking for? And it gives us a really clear idea of just like, wow. 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 Is that because the feds already got it? Is that because they were tipped off not to ask for it? And then look at, here we go. We have to add that shit back to it. So this is all a lot of like, what's this one? Motion in order for virtual search warrant or search warrant application to remain sealed, but redacted version being provided for public release. Who gives a fuck about that? Oh boy. Let's go down here. God, what else is this? Okay, now we can go back up. Let's see what they stuffed back here. Okay. Forward homicides update in Bolo, Monday, November 28th at 8:24 a.m. See this, Chris Engel? Can you please forward the Bolo attached to this email to your sworn officers? Also, please stress this is law enforcement sensitive. We are asking anyone who finds a vehicle matching this to only run it with their MDC or to call dispatch. Please do not broadcast this over the air. Also, we have nothing to positively tie this vehicle to the crime, but it very much of interest to our investigation. There you go. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, Dustin Blaker. Look at that. Dustin Blaker puts this out on November 28th, 2022. Says from Dustin. This is November 27th. That's their whole damn hi all. Homicide and update in Bolo. Hello all. I wanted to update everyone on the current progress of the investigation. We know everyone is chomping at the bit to get in and help, and rightly so. To that end, we wanted to share what information we have to keep everyone in the loop and up to date on things to watch for. Also, we are always open to new ideas. Please let me know if you have anything you think ought to be tried. Lastly, this may not be all of the info, but it's the most pertinent to where we are currently. This email is only going out to MPD, Pullman PD, and WSU PD. The attached flyer is extremely sensitive and must not be shared outside of your agency. The vehicle in the flyer is of interest to MPD investigations. However, you must understand you are ordered not to stop, detain, or contact the driver unless it is a life or death emergency. If you observe a similar vehicle to the one in the flyer, please gather the license plate number as discreetly as possible and communicate that information via phone, MDC/email only. Call the ISP number on the flyer to report these vehicles in order to keep the flow of information consistent. Now we have a problem. This is amazing. Oh my God, Pain on the stand said, I have no idea how we did not know about the November 29th call-in by Daniel Tanego and Curtis Whitman. Daniel and Curtis just got this and we're like, meh, we're not going to fucking, like, Brett Payne to say that we never got. We didn't know that they had that on the 29th. Okay. But guess what, guys? Dustin Blaker and Chris Engel and Sergeant Love, or not Sergeant, I think he's a sergeant maybe. Love, they all knew on the 25th. They all knew on November 25th they had the name Bryan Kohberger because they had his car. Because he was one of the first 11 Elantras. 11 Elantras. The first 11 Elantras that were put on a spreadsheet. He was one of the first 11. Talk about get the fuck out of here. Come on, y'all. Come on. Hey, I'm just gonna go over here to this. I don't even know what you want to call it, but and then I'm gonna go to this one and like write down these. Oh, there's Brian's. I think it was one. It could have been potentially the first like one of 7, but I'm saying 11 because there was 11 I think written down total on the page for that day. But if you go in chronological order, I think his was the 7th Elantra. but fuck it. Let's just say one of the first 11. I like the number 11. Wild, huh? And there was no talks about that they didn't have a front license plate, like that we're interested in that, cars that don't have it because they're from wherever. After he writes this, then he says, do not air any of this information over the radio. Please contact me or Sergeant Darren Gilbertson. Okay. Well, me, guess who wrote this? Brett Payne. Brett Payne writes this one. And then guess who wrote this one? Dustin Blaker. Okay. Gary Lee Jenkins is all over that. Who's Keith C? See what that is? That is actually that's the county of Whitman. Is that the sheriff's office? I mean, who's Keith C? Because that wasn't listed here. It says it was just going to be Pullman. It was going to be WSU. Did they say Whitman County Sheriff's Department? No. Then he goes on to say, since the initial phase of the investigation, we have learned the following. All the residents returned home by approximately 2. What? How did you learn that? At approximately 3:30, a vehicle of interest, the one in the bolo, arrives in the area via Steiner to Lauder to Taylor. Oh my God, we got to print this shit. This is some good ass shit right here. Give me this shit. Hold on 1 second. Hold up, wait a minute. Because I ain't with it. Come on. We need number 507. Okay, I guess I can do that later. This shit's good. This shit's real good. Okay, so. Okay. What is the fucking date of this? (1:46) November 27th. Oh my God. All right. Thank you. No wonder why Tizzy Taylor coming with the. Now, do you guys see? This makes sense why Ann Taylor asking these questions. Let me get out this sacred. So sacred. Oh boy. Just another manic Monday. Oh. Okay, here we go. 4. Today is I think it's the 19th. Yeah. 2026. This basically starts at like page 506, but we should just do another. Let me take a little check here, guys. Check microphone. Check. What's this? Oh, what's that? Nope. There we go. What is this? Do not duplicate. What is that? Bryan Kohberger. Is that a key? Okay. Criminal justice grad students and faculty are experiencing a bombardment from the press, as well as harassing emails from the public and press. Who's harassing anybody? They have asked for extra patrol for their buildings, offices, Wilson Shore ground level and first floor. Residents of the Step 2 apartments have also reported similar harassment from the press and have asked for extra patrol. Thanks. Lies. No one's harassing anybody. No one is harassing. Look at Daniel Tanego on that bitch right there. Curtis Whitman. Okay, look at this. Image. See, that says image 002. What image is that? Ooh, daddy. What's that image right there? Image 022 PNG 002. LES Bolo, vehicle of interest. Okay, so he attached images, so that'd be like probably the 2 that he attached. Okay, perfect. And so let me get this straight. Remember we were told that the bolo went out on November 25th, 2022. That's big fat fucking lie. Oh my God, I love it. The bolo didn't go out to the fucking these fuckers until November 28th, 2022. What a month. Oh my God, these liars. Woo! Aunt Taylor was all over it. Aunt Taylor was all over it, guys. Trust. Okay, so you got to just read these dates here. So this is the email that's going out right here. The date is from Gary Lee Jenkins to these people. And he's forwarding the homicide update in bolo. And it was Monday, November 28th. And it's at 8:42 a.m. And that would be big old Gare to WSU. And it's a forward. Okay. And he's forwarding what he just got from Dustin Blaker at 8:22 or 8:21 from Dustin Blaker. Okay. AM. This is why she wanted to know their private communications. Holy shit. Oh. Okay. So Dustin Blaker does this on the same day, November 28th. And it's just 20 minutes before. Okay. So then big old Gare sends it to his WS people. Okay. And he actually, holy shit, puts on the County of Whitman, whoever this Keith is. Keith C at County of Whitman. Okay. Gotcha. We got you now, motherfuckers. We got you now. Okay. So then Brett Payne on November 27th gives it to MPD. Brett Payne. Okay. So Brett Payne writes this email up at 1:46 p.m. on November 27th, which is to include all of the people from Moscow. Okay. I wanted to update everybody on the current progress of the investigation. So see how it says subject, homicide update, and bolo. So November 27th. Oh my God. This is why Aunt Taylor said, she's like, what was those dates again? Yeah. November 25th, 2022 is when they try to say that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Damn. Holy shit. Okay, so if you observe, okay, so it says, yeah, this is the first email. Oh my God, please contact me or Sergeant Darren Gilbertson. Oh my God. Oh my God, Detective Gilbertson, I have to talk to you now. Holy shit. Okay. Oh my God, this is mind blowing. Oh my God, this is fucking amazing. Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. No, okay, I'm not just kidding. I'm not gonna cry. I fucking told you this shit. Remember? Do you guys remember Aunt Taylor was like, listen, they had Bryan Kohberger's, they didn't change the year until after Bryan Kohberger. This is proof. Why would WSU, I'm sorry, let me take that back. Why would Pullman police officers, okay, be looking for a white Elantra on November 25th, okay, if There was no rollout internally. Capiche? Right here, November 27th is the bolo. Whatever Blaker was doing privately with Chris Engel and the rest of the Pullman Police Department, like I've been saying, I just couldn't prove it all the way. Now I can officially fucking prove it. And Ann Taylor could too. Oh my God. This is what she was talking about. This is why they are suing the fuck out of these people. Oh my God. Why can't they say the real way that they got to Bryan Kohberger? That's my question since jump. How did you get to Bryan Kohberger? Oh, IGG. Did you? Did you now? I asked Gabriela Vargas if it was possible to hide behind IGG. And she says, what do you mean, Lana? I said, well, what if you can't really say how you got to Bryan Kohberger, or it would like it would out a whole big can of fucks, okay? But let's pretend we got to him through IGG, right? And let's just say that we did. But we really didn't. So it's like a double fuck. Like, it's like they tried to say they got to him in a probable cause through the white car, which they didn't. Okay. Oh my God, now Hitler, the way Hitler is now talking, it's like, well, no, they most certainly identified him through the white car. Oh my God, these people are fucking crazy. Oh my God. They're just master spinners. These people are nuts. They're master fucking spinners. The question is, why were they looking for a white Elantra? There was multiple vehicles that it could be, okay? And it wasn't until Immel said, and this was in March, you guys, March of 2023. It was not before. It was the reason. Okay, it's like this. You have this car could have been 3 or 4 different make and models, okay? Now, you have to like dissect it to say, okay, we're going to start weeding stuff out. And they were saying that it couldn't be this car, it couldn't be this car because it has, you know, the back brake lights up on the top, things like that. You know, so you're able to start, hey, it can't be that, it can't be that, right? Well, the question is when did they determine that? Because your pool of cars that it could be has to, if you're going to be sending out a bolo, right? Why are you only sending out an Elantra? Okay. Why are you only sending out an Elantra? Why wouldn't you be sending out, be on the lookout for X, Y, and Z? And where's the report or the communication of where they're determining that, hey, we're ruling these cars out because this one doesn't have this one doesn't have this, and this video has X, Y, and Z. And what Ann Taylor was trying to say is you cannot use the balcony blooming camera, right? But it's only blooming going in, right? On its way when it leaves. And then my argument with when it leaves is, well, you don't know what it looks like from the front. And you have no idea if it's the same car that came in that made it blooming. Capiche? And Ann Taylor was understanding this. We're vibing on that. I know that we are. 1000% all day. Because just because a car came in, how are you saying that it's then the next car that leaves? Hey, it was just that car that came in. Now, with the first 3 loops, all day it's that car because it's a continuation, okay? Except for one, which is either the first loop, it takes like an extra 30 seconds. And what it would seem like is that somebody was let out of the vehicle. Okay, that's what it would seem like to me as to why it could have taken an extra 30 seconds. Now, but that fourth loop to me, that the car is leaving at 4:20. Okay, we don't know what car though it truly is, right? Hang tight, because how do I want to say this? What we have on the camera at 4:05 and 4:07, and then this vehicle goes ahead and parks. Okay, well, the vehicle that leaves at 4:20. How are you saying it's the same vehicle that parked at, or that went off camera at 4:07 and 25 seconds? That's speculating, right? Until if you broke down the camera of, which the only one that you can do is if you broke down the 1112 camera. And they were hanging on to the fact of it being the Elantra because of where the brake light was, right? Well, there's other vehicles that have that positioning in the back of the car. Also, Mark B has been working on some amazing shit because we're all about this 1112 camera. And you would need the raw data, whatever the raw, you can't be going to these enhancement things. You can't be going to anybody that ever would have taken just the video and then applied the audio after, just like the overlay like that. Even if you're just saying like, hey, I just took it how it is and I just overlaid it. We need it all together, okay? With no enhancements. Where does that original raw data? Who has that? Is it even what we've been provided? Okay. But Mark is trying to figure out why the audio is behind 9 to 42 seconds in various areas. The audio. And he was able to find proof of this. I think he's probably going to be putting out a video, so I want to let him be able to do that. But I think it's very interesting. And he used the vehicle from the 248 timestamp to prove it. So that's what we are working on right now. Okay. So we're working on why that would be. Why would this audio be off 9 to 42 seconds? But going back to this, holy shit. So the vehicle approaches on Taylor. The vehicle approaches on Taylor, makes a loop through King Queen, then leaves on Walenta. It then begins to make short loops between Paradise Drive and Walenta. Each time making a lap through King and Queen. During this time, at approximately 4 o'clock, a DoorDash driver drops off food at 1122 King Road. Now, this is what should blow all of our minds. What are the dates of Molly McMichael's interviews? To say that you're dropping off a DoorDash at 4. So everybody now for the first time is being made aware of this DoorDash. Except for the public. And they also didn't say how the DoorDash arrived, though, at 3:45. So they just want to tell us that the DoorDash that says, during this time at approximately 4, a DoorDash driver drops off food at 1122 King Road. Upon interviewing this driver, she told us she saw a male in a 4-door sedan drive right next to her as she was walking in search of the address and leave the King Road area. The DoorDash driver leaves, and then the suspicious vehicle returns to the king/queen loop. The vehicle apparently stops somewhere on the loop. We suspect at the southwest upper lot at approximately 4:08. The camera on 1112 King Road captures audio of what sounds like a struggle coming from 1122 King Road at approximately 4:17. You guys, none of the sounds on that camera are from inside that house. It's just impossible. At approximately 4:20, the suspicious vehicle exits king/queen, driving very fast, and leaves via Walenta. This is the last time this vehicle is caught on any camera we have. Do you see that? On any camera we have. On any camera that we have right now. Well, what cameras did you have up and through November? So you guys, you could, this is where I would be saying, okay, so then it means it didn't leave back out that back area. And then I want to go and talk about where Eric Gower did his interview. Where Eric Gower did his interview is exactly what's part of my investigation is, well, it looks like that car went where Eric Gower went to do his interview. That's what seems most plausible to me. If this vehicle isn't on any camera, it seems like it hid out for a little bit. But no. So they say, this is the last time this vehicle is caught on any camera we have. So it's likely, not certain, the vehicle exited off Consagna, however they want to say it. Constoga. Then west on West Palouse River Drive. So it's likely, not certain. We are confident whoever is in this vehicle is, at a bare minimum, heavily involved in what took place. How about, do you see anywhere in there where they say anything like, what about the tower dumps? What's going on with the tower dumps at that time? What phones are in around there at the tower dumps? So wait, let me get this straight. If this was wrote by Payne, okay, Payne sends it to everybody, and then Blaker sends it to Gary Jenkins, and then Gary Jenkins sends it to his staff, you know what I mean? So that means WSU police and all these people knew about all of this shit. Not just like, here, be on the lookout for this car, but we're going to give them all of this information. And when they knew that who they could potentially be looking for could be somebody in law enforcement because of the way the crime scene was, that blows my fucking tits out of the water right there. I don't know why I'd be giving all that information away. They don't need that when you're be on the lookout, because that's what got shared. We are confident whoever is in that vehicle is, at a bare minimum, heavily involved in what took place. That being so, oh my God, wait a second. Oh wait, hold on a second. Oh my God. Oh my God. What day is this? November 27th, right? Oh my God. They don't talk about Indian. They don't talk about Indian Hills. Arrives in the area via. They don't talk about Indian Hills. They call up the people from Indian Hills. This is when Danny Vargas writes in an email, and she says that she does it on November 29th. And guess why they did that? So who's their suspect? Eric Gower. Why would they be asking for somebody's on that street? Oh my God, this is when Danny Vargas now comes in, and Danny Vargas is like, here, I can call up these people on Indian Hill. Eric. And that's why Ann said, well, why'd you guys go over there and get that footage from Indian Hills? And then this is Payne. I don't know. You don't know. You don't know why you went over there. Can you fucking believe that lying piece of shit, Payne? You are straight trash, Payne. It's all laid out here. When he types this up on November 27th, Danny Vargas doesn't make the phone call, or what she claims is till November 29th to go get the Indian Hills footage. Yeah, I don't recall. Payne, please. You know how many streets are back there? Why didn't anybody else get calls? We're just going to drive up. And you know who they called? A judge. The woman that supplied she's something or other. She's something to do with the courts. I did a big old live on that. These people are crazy. This is what's nuts. It's like somebody probably said to them, what do you mean? A vehicle of interest, the one in the bolo, arrives in the area via Steiner to Lauder to Taylor. So somebody probably was like, well, we're at Steiner. Like, it can't just like start in the middle of the road. You know what I mean? Can we go backwards from Steiner? Oh, let's just start in the middle of the road at Indian Hills then. That's fine. You get what I'm saying? Like, then why wasn't somebody like, well, it had to come somewhere from Indian Hills? Like, where'd it come from? No, that's good enough. And that's where we have the two different vehicles. So the vehicle at Steiner that's sitting there on the 1311 Main Street Sunset Mark camera, that's where there's two different vehicles. And that's how they knew this. Damn. He can't count. He doesn't remember anything. What the hell can be offered? What the hell can he offer a university? Or wait, he can lie with the best of them. Birds with flower, baby, we rock together. You guys, I've asked so nicely, can I just please have the discovery? I will find you whatever the hell you need and put it together. I just need the material. Poster boy Payne. He's more like peace out, Payne. He peaced out, and now he's cucking it with Green. During this time at approximately, okay, so wow. A car just can't start in the middle of the fucking road, Payne. Okay. Now we are confident. That being so, the fact we are looking for this vehicle is critical to the investigation. Please follow the instructions on the bolo and do not tell anyone what we are looking for or why, or air anything on the radio. In addition, we are awaiting numerous lab results, which could provide crucial results. We have heavily vetted each of the people directly linked to the victims. Oh my God, they're crazy. OMG, these people are nuts. In addition, we have heavily vetted each. Vetted. You know what the word vet means? We have heavily vetted each of the people. Each of the people. Do you know what each means? Each of the people directly linked to the victims. Who are directly linked to the victim? What are you talking about? Are you talking about the survivors? We have heavily vetted each of the people directly linked to the victims and are now actively sifting through thousands of leads, gigs worth of data. Dude, they hadn't gotten into anything. They have not gotten into any gigs. And hundreds of interviews. Oh my God. We're going to now count. Remember? On this day, November 27th, how many interviews had taken place? And we've been pulling these interviews and we've been playing them. And they have given us nothing. Heavily vetted. They are saying that they've heavily vetted shit, guys. In hundreds of interviews. Numerous search warrants have been served to include 2 on an apartment at 500 Queen Road. Oh my God, look at what they're linking here. Oh my God. Jack Showalter, come on. Do you see what's happening here, man? Damn. They're trying to tell these people, like, yep, it's been like numerous search warrants have been served to include 2 on an apartment at 500 Queen Road. That's Showalters. These people are sick. Showalter gave you his DNA and it didn't match the sheath. Please keep an eye out for the vehicle in the bolo. Now, guys, remember this. Please. On November 27th, they already had Bryan Kohberger's name. They got it on the 25th. November 25th, they had his name. And so before they put out the bolo, and they were already looking for a white Elantra, on November 25th, they got his name. I will show you this. Unbelievable. So why are you putting this out there? Because now we're about to sell it. Now we have to, remember, we have to work backwards to make this happen. We can't really say how we got to this man. Please keep an eye out. Please. We are fairly certain of the vehicle we are looking for per the FBI specialists who do such things. No plate info is known at this time. Right now, there you go. It doesn't say like, and that was big. Please let me know if you have any questions or suggestions. Stay safe and happy hunting. Happy hunting. Oh my God. Shit pain. Happy hunting, Sebastian. You know what that's from? That's from Cruel Intentions. Happy hunting. Pain. Do you think these people were like, dude, this guy he's been here for all of 2.5 years and he's running this shit? Yeah. I think that they were planning on pinning it on 2 people, not 1. They knew what they were dealing with at that when they saw that crime scene. But pinning, I don't know what they were doing, but that's an email for the books right there. Right? Wrong? Maybe? Look how they just snuck that in there. If someone's just thought, oh, let me just, guys, this is, whoo-wee. This comes in, like, look at it. It's like Friday, January 6th, and all of a sudden we get this plop down, like, from Dustin Blaker to Chris, Gary, Keith. Can you please forward the bill attachment to this email to your sworn officers? Also, please stress this is law enforcement sensitive. We are asking anyone who finds a vehicle matching this. See, November 28th. Holy shit, man. And then Gary sends it on. And he just forwards everything that Brett Payne wrote like that. All these dudes knew. Where's Idaho State Police? Where's that email? Maybe we'll continue to go. Maybe it's going to be, let's pass this up and they probably like hit it again. Damn. November 16th. And FYI, the following messaging will be distributed throughout the WSU Pullman campus community this morning. We will also be posting it to our social media platforms and our website. Gary Jenkins, safety message to WSU Pullman community. There you go, Gary. WSU police chief says no imminent threat to Pullman campus. Oh my God, they are so fucked. Washington State University Police Chief Gary Jenkins expressed confidence Tuesday in the ongoing quadruple homicide investigation in nearby Moscow, Idaho, and added that while few details have been disclosed, he's been assured there is no imminent threat to the WSU community. Oh my God. If there was any threat to the public, we would be joining Moscow PD in releasing information warning of that. Jenkins said in a statement posted to the WSU Pullman Police Department website Wednesday morning. However, I have been assured by the Moscow Police Department that based on information from their preliminary investigation, investigators believe this was an isolated targeted attack and there is no imminent threat to the community at large. Oh my God. Gary Jenkins hasn't worked a day. Now this pops out of bed. November 14th. He's got all these things on his schedule. And then 15th. Now he's doing this on the 16th. Damn. 4 University of Idaho students were found dead Sunday in an apartment near the University of Idaho campus. In an apartment, the house. And Moscow Police Department are investigating it as a homicide. The University of Idaho initially issued a shelter-in-place alert, but then lifted it when Moscow Police determined that no imminent threat existed. Though no suspects have been identified nor arrested. Contributing to public anxiety is a sense that too few details about the tragedy have been publicly released. Jenkins said it's common practice to provide enough information to help the public make informed decisions about their own safety, but without compromising the integrity of the ongoing criminal investigation by disclosing too many details. We all understand the anxiety and grief many in our communities are experiencing, Jenkins said. And while we always encourage people to think about their own personal safety every day, I have been assured by my colleagues that there is no imminent threat related to the tragedy being investigated. Wow. Oh my God. Oh shit. What a bunch of fucking pieces of garbage. To think if there would have been another attack. Oh my God, these fucks. You guys, if Woo. Boy, I told you, rolling out of bed. Gary Jenkins just pops up on the block. He was not working. Nothing was in his calendar. He was getting paid, and they told the community in August that police chief Jennings came out of retirement and he took back over the WSU, police department. You guys, I think that's a lie. I think that's a big lie. There's nothing in his calendar. His literally first day back looks like it's November 14th. So what was he doing in August, September, October, and for 2 weeks in November? If he was collecting money, holy shit. If he was getting paid, you guys know I put that FOIA in. Come on. I want to know what Jennings got paid from August to November 14th. And I want his schedule. They're probably going to be like, this bitch, not again. She's coming for us. Allie Tally is like, I'm still catching up on so much. Yep, and knew this was going to pop off. Allie Tally, it is popping off. Let me tell you how much so it's popping off, Allie Tally. Ready? I was all over it with my freaking FOIAs back in 2025. You guys, they kept telling me, oh, it'll be a month. Oh, it'll be 3 months. Then they told me it would be 6 months for me to get my WSU shit. And I said, I'm trying to make a documentary here. I need this material because the documentary needs the material. Otherwise, my documentary is not going to be a documentary. It's going to be I don't even know. It's just not going to be. I want to use my videos that I put out in the beginning. And I want to show how in the beginning, this is what we were saying over here. And we were saying that this is the material that needs to be gotten. And it's going to tell us a lot, right? Well, here, a man has said that he killed 4 people. This is a closed case. Why aren't you giving me and everybody else the FOIAs? Well, it sounds like it's not because people quit the job and that they're so understaffed. If you guys need, I can work. I'll be happy to work for the WSU Police Department remotely and sign whatever. What do you guys need? I can pump out your FOIAs. Like, unbelievable. Lana, did you know that you're in the Pullman social media docs? Yes, I do. The social media docs, I'm in the Pullman. Some lady was so upset that I was getting FOIAs and she wasn't. That she wrote in a FOIA request, Lana Oriani of Truth and Transparency gets all this shit. How come I'm not getting it? I want what she has. That's how she filled out her FOIA. I said, you can do that. You can say, hey, there's somebody that put in a FOIA request. Her name is this, or his name is this, and I want exactly what they got. Just do it. I mean, or you can just file your own. But that's how my name got in there. And then I think somebody else called me in as a tip to say that I was the killer or something like that. Don't you guys know that I'm a killer? I'm just drawing all this attention to myself and trying to pull back the onion of what I'm involved in. But yeah, that's yes, Kate, that's exactly. I swear, like I said, there's just so much, but it's very interesting. Lana Oriani is playing Brett Kopaka stuff and this is supposed to be like wild shit. And I'm like, yeah, Brett Kopaka, in my opinion, was swatted. Like swatted. Like, what's going on? That young man was swatted. 36 to me is young. Those church-going folks, they called the police and said that he said all these things. But yet when you actually sat them down, they didn't explain it that way when they had their little interviews. Sad. I think it's very, really sad. Can you believe that though? Like that phone call led to somebody getting killed. I wouldn't want to live with that the rest of my life. That's all I know. And there was no fucking furniture in that apartment, okay? No furniture. Nobody cared about that. Like, you guys don't have a kitchen table. You guys don't have a couch. You don't have a television. What the hell y'all doing in here? Very bizarre. I've never lived somewhere where we only had furniture in our rooms, and then we walked out to the kitchen and the living room, and there was just nothing in there. Pretty bizarre. Have you guys ever lived like that? I just know I have not. And I can tell you if I know boys live differently, so I get that. But if I was to ever go visit my son down the road and he's in college or he's in, after college and I go to his apartment and it looks like that, I'm going to say, do you need me to get you some fucking furniture? Like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? Bizarre. Very bizarre. Yeah. So holy shit. I have been assured by my colleagues that there is no imminent threat. Like, God, thank God Chief Fry isn't in a leadership role anywhere right now. This was the November 16th. The deaths this past weekend. Okay, so while the case is under active investigation by the Moscow Police Department, few details have been released. Okay, if there were any threat to the public, our department and the Moscow Police Department would proactively warn the public. However, I have been assured by the Moscow Police Department that based on information from their preliminary investigation, that's going to be amazing to hear at depositions. Officer Payne, how many homicides have you been part of? None. Okay, so you didn't give a preliminary. You had no idea what you were looking at, correct? Okay. How about you, young buck? How many homicides? None. Okay. Who here has ever seen a homicide before? And you notice that there was no blood leaving this house, right? No trail, no nothing, blah, blah, blah. And what? Not one person, but 4 people are dead. Is it an isolated attack? This didn't seem like there was a serial killer on the loose, potentially. I mean, that's what you arrested, but how did you make it so that this was because Dylan wasn't killed? That's what they're gonna say. But didn't Dylan tell you that she was drunk and that she doesn't know what she was seeing and if it was a dream and all that shit? Yep, she sure did. So was that part of your preliminary investigation too? How about that they were watching Vampire Diaries and that the verbatim language that the girls used was straight from Vampire Diaries? How about that? You guys. Hey, families out there, if you guys ever see this, I will pay for the transcripts. I will help pay for the transcripts if I can get a copy of the deposition. I want to hear these. I got to hear these depositions because I think you could shellac these people in a deposition because they have no clue what the fuck they're talking about or doing. Because look at this shit. What could be potentially that you had said at that scene, but by the preliminary investigation that nobody, like, you guys, based off of who they arrested, right? Do you think that there was a problem? Do you think that there was a threat? Yeah, there was a huge threat. And the threat was living on WSU's campus. And Gary Jenkins just rolls out of bed on November 14th to start being a chief police again. We just talked about that yesterday. Where and what was Gary Jenkins doing in September, October, and in the first 2 weeks of November? And now we just find out today that Officer Payne was the one that wrote the Bolo email. And yet he's on the stand and he's like, I have no idea when I wrote. I have no idea. And then he wrote people to say, hey, this is how you're going to communicate when you find a vehicle. And somehow the November 29th find at 12 in the morning and then again at 12:30 in the morning, somehow that you didn't, we didn't know about that until after. Wait, what do you mean you didn't know about that until after December 19th? Because it just, the right hand wasn't talking to the left hand. Do you understand how that makes no sense now? What do you mean the right hand wasn't talking to the left hand? You, motherfucker, wrote the goddamn email that was forwarded. You wrote the email, and then it got Dustin Blaker then sent it to who? WSU and Pullman. But the question should be is, hey, Payne, what was Dustin Blaker and Pullman police doing on November 21st through November 25th? That's what I want to know. Because November 25th, y'all had the first 7 to 11 cars that y'all ever fucking looked for. You find Bryan Kohberger, you gotta be shitting me. There's you guys need to go play the lottery. That's some awesome shit, man. That's some luck right there. Go play the lottery because that's wild shit. The strategy for most emergency communications is to provide as much information as possible so the public, particularly those who may be in harm's way, can make informed decisions about their personal safety. Exactly. Do you think that those kids would have stayed at WSU if y'all would have said, hey, we have reason to believe that the killer was in a vehicle and that they drove back over here to WSU's campus? No. Same thing would be said that, hey, we believe that the killer was in a car and the car vanishes. And so what it looks like to me is that the car didn't leave Moscow. Okay. So, and we don't have anybody in custody. And somebody went in to where people lived in the middle of the night and did this. Because then they would know that also somebody cleaned it up. Somebody cleaned it up. Somebody tried to get away with it. It wasn't like a crime of passion, rage, and then they just like, oh my God, like they got into a heated fight, and then, oh my God, and they just ran up out of there. That scene doesn't show me that at all. That just takes common sense. There are additional considerations when communicating information about an active criminal investigation. A criminal investigation can be quickly compromised by releasing too many details, especially before the apprehension of those responsible. Law enforcement does not want to jeopardize a future criminal prosecution. This is all they kept saying about this. We need to be able to prosecute. We need to be able to prosecute. You guys, they were never prosecuting this case because they made a decision in a room all together and said, listen, we're going to do whatever we can to find the perpetrator, get them off the fucking street, and we don't care if we can prosecute down the road. Okay? Like, I personally believe that there was conversations like that. I'm telling you, because that's why you would have no problem cheating, right? When I say the word cheating, violating our rights. When you make that decision, it's like, hey, we're going to probably have to do stuff shady and we could probably get to the killer, right? But there ain't no way that we can do this on the up and up and get to this quickly because we don't even know what we're looking for right now. So I just personally believe that they had a conversation with whoever is the true commanders here. And the conversation was, and I believe that Bill Thompson was part of that. And it was, yeah, do whatever you gotta do. I'm not going out like I'm not going down. Basically, I'm not going to be remembered by this, but oh, Bill, you are. Everybody just cared about their jobs. One more thing. A Latell County judge issued a non-dissemination order, gag order, preventing law enforcement from discussing details of this case with the public, except for information identical to what has already been released to the public. I asked for advice from the AG's office, and they indicated that the order might not be applicable in Washington, but it would be risky for us to discuss details of the case and recommended we follow the spirit of the order. I have instructed Officer Tanego and Sergeant Whitman to ignore press releases and requests, rather, for statements or interviews, or to reply that they cannot discuss the case due to the gag order. The AG did say that our ability to discuss some of the details related to what is already public may change over time. We had some opportunities to meet with the national media to discuss the work of Tanego and Whitman, but for now, the affidavit will have to tell the story for us. Wait, we had some opportunities to meet with the national media to discuss what? But now the affidavit will have to, I am hopeful that we will ultimately be able to highlight the great work of WS. Oh my God, we had that. Oh my God, to discuss what work of Tanego and Whitman. But for now, they had, oh my God, this is insane. Gary Jenkins, hot seat, done. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, I do. Oh, yes. Oh, God, yes, 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 yes. Please. Yes, we need it. Me and Pavarotti are going to do a collaboration here. We were emailing back and forth, and this is mind-blowing. Tanego and Curtis Whitman didn't do anything, you guys. Do you understand that? My God. My God. They brought him back in. They brought him in right after the homicides to say, hey, I need you to come in. I need somebody that can. We're going to have to get our hands a little dirty, Gary. And it could even been something like, hey, we think that the killer is actually at WSU. Oh my God. Let me just see if Pavarotti wants to come on my channel today. Because I need a glass. Want to discuss tonight or tomorrow. I'm in the zone. Let's go. This is wild ass shit. I'm going to have to call him. We need it. This is crazy. You guys, hooray for these fucking families, man. Hooray. They are going after WSU, and the discovery that's going to come out in that case. Amen, man. Amen. What did they know and when did they know it? Holy crap, you guys. Ooh. Amber, I have a flip phone. Gary understood the assignment is absolutely correct. Holy shit. You guys, they all knew it. They've all known so much shit and they've just been lying their sacks off. Do you understand that we get to start I love timelines. We get to start a completely new timeline, an actual factual timeline. Lana, I'm sure I saw in one of the body cam videos, Payne saying that they had a Zoom call meeting and Green was on the call as well. Oh, we're working on this new AI to see if basically we can put in a body cam and that it gives us the transcripts. Because it's so hard sometimes to hear some of these mumbling idiots. I was asking because you just like the case girl. Crystal Amber says, you just like that case girl, don't you? You just saw that case like that. Yeah. You like that. Yeah. It's that. Oh my God. Yesterday. You need to watch yesterday's. You guys, we have Gary Jenkins' calendar. And the families are going to be able to get all these other calendars. If not, there's actually maybe more than just Gary Jenkins. There's just so much shit in here. And it's like, okay. You are all probably aware that Kohberger's arrest warrant affidavit was made available to the public today. The affidavit describes the great work Officer Tanego and Sergeant Whitman did in tracking down a possible suspect vehicle, which was, as it turns out, the suspect vehicle. Oh my God. Oh my God, Gary. Note that the timeline for locating the vehicle is not entirely correct in the affidavit. I can't breathe. Holy shit. Oh my God. What a minute. Don't go there because you ain't with it. Here, kitty, kitty, here, kitty, kitty. Holy shit. Oh my God. Gary Jenkins comes with the 1-2 and says, hey guys, guess what? I'm going to write this in an email. You guys do know that they lied under oath. Are you sitting? Does Aunt Taylor know this exists? I don't know. Aunt Taylor, should I give you a call? This is, girl, it's TNT live the tape. Girl, what's up? I know you watching this live. Snapbacks and tattoos. This is insane. Insanity. Dude, I told you guys bombs were coming and Holy shit. The families, if WSU, I'm telling you, they lied their asses off to those families. And I hope, and I know they're not doing it for the money. They're just not. They were just lied to, man. Can you imagine like being lied to about your kid being murdered? I'd fucking go through every goddamn wall. This disgusting. This is crazy. Look at this. Here we go. You are all probably aware that Bryan Kohberger's arrest warrant affidavit was made available to the public today. The affidavit describes the great work Officer Tanego and Sergeant Whitman did in tracking down a possible suspect vehicle, which was, as it turned out, the suspect vehicle. Note that the timeline for locating the vehicle is not entirely correct in the affidavit. The affidavit indicates that area law enforcement agencies were asked to be on the lookout for the suspect vehicle on November 25th, when, in fact, they did not ask for that until the morning of November 28th. And it's like, no gare. No gare. Ready? Grrr. No gare. We have Pullman Police Department's emails now, baby. And Pullman most certainly knew to be on the lookout on November 25th. And they already found the suspect vehicle on November 25th within 11 cars. And that was before Payne ever put out his email on November 27th. Oh. Oh my God. Shortly after receiving the email from Moscow Police Department, I sent out an email with the vehicle description on November 28th at 8:24 hours. And Tanego queried Kohberger's license plate on November 29th at 28 hours. Approximately 16 hours later, not 3 days. It's Sergeant Whitman observed the vehicle on Kohberger's apartment complex at 58 hours. He observed the vehicle. What do you mean observed it? Outstanding work. Look at them cover up this timeline. God, they lied. They lied to everybody. The people in charge. The people that were really running the roost. Oh my God. Oh my God. And Gary Jenkins just comes out and you would think, wait, why would he ever put this in an email? What is this document? I know, Cammie, right? This document's lit as fuck, right? Girl, they just came out and you just gotta like sift through 2,500 pages and then you gotta compare it to the actual truth. But this is in the WSU 2,500 doc drop, I call it. The internet. They're like spreadsheets. There's, you guys, how they chose to put these in order is exactly what Ann Taylor was talking about. There is shit everywhere. It's in no, like, you have to go through every single page because you do not know what's the next page. Which one would think that, how could something in November 16th be coming right after something from January 5th? And they do it on purpose. Okay, because think about it. If you're organizing what you have, right? Because you need to, like, aren't you running an investigation? Isn't it organized of some fucking degree? Yes, it is. And then it's like, hey, let's just give it like this to the defense. Absolutely, why lie? You guys, this comes back to the whole thing of is that these officers, these chiefs told both college campuses that everybody was fine. Everybody was safe. Nobody was safe. Nobody was fine. They had no idea who did this, right? Supposedly, right? They have no idea who did this. So then how are you saying that everyone's safe and this is an isolated targeted attack? Bryan Kohberger is not the person that you arrest if this is an isolated target attack, because Bryan Kohberger had no connection to any of those victims. That means that it's the most dangerous person out there that is like a Gilgo Beach killer, okay? Like that will just strike whenever, and no one's say, like, it's a, like, I mean, serial killers usually have a type, right? Nobody believed they were safe. Yeah. And so I just can't, like, liars. Someone wrote over there, I can't stand liars. Absolutely. And there's nothing worse than, who do these people in power positions think that they are to lie to us? We actually pay their salaries, right? I was totally mind fucked yesterday when I saw that Gary Jenkins did not work a day in September, October, and 2 weeks in November. And it wasn't until immediately after this homicide on the 14th, because they found out about it on the 13th, Gary Jenkins is back in the office and has all of this shit on a calendar. But they said that they brought him in August of 2022 to like resume taking back over the WSU police department. You guys, what was he doing? August, September, October. What the hell? What? Like, there is no record of him working. I was just, can you imagine him on the stand? And if it would have come out that he has a different phone? Okay, so where's the phone that you used leading up into the murders, man? Where's that phone? Like, if it was to come out, like, that's the only thing that can get him out of any type of trouble. And as far as I'm concerned, is that, oh, my calendar for everything up until the November 14th date that was on a different phone. Oh, well, where's that phone? Because you only turned over, what phone did you turn over? Ann Taylor specifically asked for this shit. And so there was another phone that you didn't turn over? So what it looks like to me is that Gary Jenkins was hiding what he was doing in August, September, October, and the 2 weeks up until November, the murders. And that doesn't look good to me. When I told you guys, when people are like, Lano, who do you think, if it wasn't Bryan, who do you think could be involved in this? I said law enforcement. 1,000%. I don't want to hear no fucking shit about no kids. Law enforcement. That crime scene is indicative of somebody that has knowledge. Okay. Yeah. Would a PhD student have that as well? Sure. Yep. Was his DNA on the sheath? Yep. Sure was. Are there other unknowns DNAs in that house? Yep. They're unidentified? Yep. Does the time, how do the bloods in both of the bedrooms not mix together at anywhere? Problem to the point that this person, whoever killed upstairs, right? If it's one killer, there's a lot of changing of clothing. It had to have been. Not just your clothes, but I'm talking like your gloves, your murder weapon. And that takes time. This is not a 3-minute fucking killing. You pieces of shit. Okay? And that's why I think when you look at the totality of everything, it makes perfect sense. Dylan is speaking about 2 separate occasions, 2 separate instances. Okay? What she heard earlier, right? And then she then wakes up again in what she then sees and hears later. So something is happening right after 2:52, in my opinion, right? And then something happens then again because of the potentiality of running into, Ethan and Xana. So I know that when I was on Dago's, I wanted to make sure that I really kind of cleared that up. When I'm talking about like 2 separate crime scenes, it's like the house is the crime scene, but it is 2 scenes within the one house. And it happened over a stretch. What it appears to be is way more time than they're saying. And that actually then, when you look at and you listen to what Dylan is saying, and she's talking about that she heard Kaylee go upstairs, right? And the dog. and she hears there's somebody here. Yeah. 2:45, 2:50 in the morning. Right? And then, because right before that, Bethany's over here talking about the dog's missing. The dog's lost. Or Maddie was saying how the dog was lost, right? And then that would propel Kaylee, who was, remember, still upstairs, dealing with, she was talking to Jack and whatever. And then so if Maddie lost the dog, right? She was drinking, and she's like, okay, well, hey, hold on. Does, Bethany have the dog? No. Okay, well then it would make sense. And Kaylee's coming downstairs trying to find the dog, right? Then going back when she gets her dog, going back upstairs, and that's what Dylan's remembering, right? And she's like, well, how long did it happen from when you heard this to this, right? Yeah, she got upstairs and she says, oh my God, there's someone here. And then she talks about that how Kaylee, she thought it was Kaylee came running down the stairs. And why there's that little bit of blood of Kaylee's in that middle room is not because it would be if you're chasing somebody around, right? And then you could also cut them. But if then they go back upstairs. Anyway, whatever's happening up there, and then when she's talking about, okay, well, how long from when you heard someone's here to then seeing the person, how long was that? And she says 10 or 20 minutes. 10 or 20 minutes. She would have been saying something like 3, 4. So I just think that if you just look at something, they didn't answer their questions. They should have been saying, okay, how is this possible? They didn't want to answer that, though. It was really bizarre. It's like, well, you're going to ask those questions at trial, but then it's like, well, there ain't going to be a trial. So don't worry about it. So here, holy shitballs. Since the arrest of Bryan Kohberger, Assistant Chief Daniels and I have been partnering with the Dean of Students Counseling Services, the Office of the WSU Marketing and Communications, Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology, Graduate Student Programs, GPSA, and others to meet with those impacted by Kohberger's arrest, to meet with them. So you wanted to hear every single thing that was being said. Oh my God. Holy shit. From the WSU PD perspective, we are offering reassurance that we are here for their safety and we are here to help them with any perceived safety threats or disruptions, including harassment from the press. How about you told everybody in the community was safe and he was living as subset apartments? As we look at this, as we move from 2022 to 2023, I ask that you all reflect back on this past year and remember the difficult times this department has endured. And then look at where we are now. Are you shitting me? Oh my God, I'd be barfing if I was a family member and saw this shit. You have all proven to be resilient and committed to your profession, to WSU and to WSU PD. We should now all look to embrace opportunities that reframe how others view. Oh my God, this is we need to change. Oh my God, this is going to change our, look at us. Look at us. You're going to make us look like oh my God, this is sick. The difficulties in the past will not define us. It is the great work of Tenego and Whitman that puts WSU PD in a favorable light on a national stage. Oh my God. Oh. Look at these people. Look at this. This is all they care about. They didn't do anything. It is the great, oh my God. It is the professional and disciplined work of the members of the regional SWAT team who did what needed to be done to save lives. It is Lang, Daniels, saving lives with CPR. It is all of you who do your jobs every day with professionalism and competency. And it's even those who dance with the Crimson Girls in front of a full football team, a full stadium. These are what now define. And it's even those who danced with the Crimson Girls. Oh my God, what is he even comparing? We still have work to do, but we are well on the path toward our real potential. Happy New Year, Gary. Hell yeah, Gary. Hell yeah. That's a leader right there. Gaslighting, spinning shit. Hell yeah. What day was this? January 5th. Couldn't even send it on the 31st. Hell yeah, Gary. Oh my God, Gary. Good job, Gary. They just keep putting in the same bullshit. This goes to what, 537? So that would be 17 pages. That's going to be all that. Okay, let's just make sure. 537. Yeah. Wow. This is Tina with What the Fuck Transition Services. What the fuck are you talking about, Gare? Dean says, Lana, remember the sign guy asking Rosie, do you know a cop? Paul, Sister Katie, Paul with jumper guy. Follow that trail. Thanks, Dean. Dean, good to see you in here. Oh my God. Ooh. If Moscow, Idaho likely has internal mileage log for vehicles. I wonder if they have the daily logs. We can maybe look at some. I wonder if they have to clock the miles that they drove on each day to see how many miles when they were working certain days that they logged in. Let's put that down. I don't know if WSU would have the same thing. WSU, Pullman, and MPD. We're going to go for the daily vehicle miles logs. November 12, 13. And let's go with November 25th, November 28th, and November 29th. Okay. We'll see if we can get those. All right. Wow. Gary Jenkins just admitted an email. Do you think that Gary be scratching his head and saying, why did he put the 25th? Why did he say there was a bolo on the 25th? And then Jenkins over here like, well, Tanego and them know that they weren't told about a bolo on the 25th. You know what I mean? So I gotta kind of like smooth it over with them, but shouldn't Gary Jenkins be wondering like why'd they fuck up in the probable cause? Or is it because he already knows? You guys, when was that second interview with Molly? When's the interview date with Molly? What do we have her down on? Anybody, so I don't have to look up this shit. Brett's bolo. No wonder why Brett Payne says. Lana, have you reached out to Ann Taylor? We have so many questions. I haven't recently. That's going to change this week. This is the WSU dump is pretty impressive. Why would Pullman be told about something on November 25th? And then they find the car And then after they find the car, they're like, okay, now let's create this bolo. It's because there was going to be no paper trail originally with Pullman. And we don't want their paper trail to start until November 27th. And then Blaker forwards a message though on the 28th. So on the 27th, MPD. And then the 28th, WSU is told. But then nobody's realizing the most important part, which is why when Payne was told about it on November 29th, is he testifying that he didn't know about it until after December 19th. He says when he testified, he said he didn't know about it until December 20th. We got a little bit. Oh my God, I just thought of something. Holy shit balls. Let's go back and look at Gary Jenkins. Bullshit. Here we go. We got to see what Gary Jenkins was up to on the 25th. Okay. This is Gary Jenkins' schedule. Do you notice how on none of these days, you guys, he's working? There's just nothing there. Okay. These are, look at. He was doing whatever he was always doing with like the football team. Okay. He did once a week. PSB server maintenance. What's that? And then November, and then watch what happens here. Boom. So if you back up and you look at here's September 26th, okay. Here's October 3rd to the 9th. Here's October 10th to the 16th. Nothing. And then here's okay, October 28th, Spokane. That's Friday. That sucks. Why the hell would you just go there? 8 to 10. So we get to Spokane at 10 and we're there from 10 to 11:30 and we travel back. What would you need to go to Spokane for all of 1 hour and 30 minutes? Like, why couldn't you just, like, everybody's having like conferences via the phone? Like, Gary interviewed Bryan. Yep. Gary didn't pick Bryan. Gary only picks females to be in certain roles. It's fact. And then here, there's the murder day. And then all of a sudden, look at this. Now he's got WASPC, OIS training, follow-up, 8 a.m. to 8:30, follow-up. 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. critical initial response team meeting. That right there, November 14th, 8:30 to 9. That's about the homicides. 11 to 12 response planning about the homicides. 11 to 11:30 custodial needs police department. Like, what's that? Then WASPC, something's going on there at that lodge. OIS training. Again, they're doing some type of training. 9 to 9:30. Security. What the fuck's that? Some type of a security, and this is the Northeast Crimes Way. Isn't that where the police department is? 3:30 to 4. Student care team. Again, it has stuff to do about the homicides. 3:30 to 4 on November 16th. Moscow Police Department press conference. Now let's go down to the 25th. (5:30 to 6:30) Moscow PD briefing. There it is. He is why is Jenkins a part of that? That's the day that Brett Payne wants to say the be on the lookout. So my guess is this, which doesn't make any sense. If you're going to debrief and tell everybody on November 25th, hey, this is where we're at, and you're telling this to the people that are like the command staff, okay? Hey, this is where we're at. I'm going to let everybody know this, though, I'm going to send out the email on November 27th. Because we have debriefing sessions, and some people can't be to them because they're out, they're doing their patrolling, they're doing this, they're doing that, or they're having an interview, you know what I mean? So why wouldn't the email that Brett Payne wrote up on the 27th, why wouldn't that have been written up on the 25th? And why is he attending? He got invited to that meeting. Then Monday, November 28th. Nothing. The 27th, November 27th is when MPD receives the email. Then the 28th is when Gary Jenkins passes it out to everybody at 8 corporal interviews. So while he's doing interviews, he's firing off an email at 8:40. Okay. On November 28th. Then it would be that night, midnight, going into like 1 o'clock, transitioning from the 28th into the 29th. So basically the same day. Hey, be on the lookout. Okay. And now this is what's wild about it. Yeah, all you were doing is just querying. So you're just like, here, when you see a vehicle, okay, you write down the plate, right? And then you're supposed to pass it along to, just like they put in the email. This is how you get us that information. So the question would be here is on November 29th, because what they asked Payne is, how did you not know that Daniel Tanego and Gary or Curtis Whitman sent you the vehicles? Yeah, we didn't know that until after. We did not know that they found his vehicle until after. And why would that be important to say that? I just want to know how, if Daniel and Curtis are doing what they're supposed to be doing and notifying how they're supposed to be notifying when they find a vehicle, right? Payne, this is how you ask them to, like, how do you, what it would seem like is you're just telling people to do this. So you're developing these databases, right? You're developing these databases to make it seem like this is how you got to Bryan Kohberger, right? Just like you did in the probable cause. You made it seem like you got to Bryan Kohberger based on Tanego and Curtis Whitman's work, but you didn't, right? Exactly. And he was like, yeah, we did not know about anything that Curtis Whitman and them did. You want to know why he had to say that? Because there's no emails. There's no emails between them and anybody. There's no work. There's a report. Nobody did any of this work. There's no fucking work. Okay. It's like taking a math test and getting all the right answers on problems that you have to have a good half of a page worth of your work showing, but you don't have any of that. But yet you have the right answer. How the fuck did you get the right answer? That's like me asking, how did you get to Bryan Kohberger? You have the right answer, right? How did you get there? And they're lying about how they got there. And that's the problem. And that's what was so obvious. And Hitler over here is like, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, there is, Hitler. We teach our kids in second grade that it's, if you cannot explain how you got an answer, I don't care if it's right or wrong, you can't explain it. You have no idea how you even got that name. Well, we did try to explain it. But then when you got questioned about it, then it was like, yeah, no, we got to Bryan Kohberger. Yeah, we didn't know we did not know his name until after when? Until on the 19th. Okay. But yet you have Gary Jenkins jumping up and down, losing his load in an email on January 5th, talking about what a great job and how these idiots over here got to the man. And do you understand these idiots over here? So there's like only a couple options here. It's like, hey, leave their names out of it because what did they ever process on Brian's car? Like, I don't know. Did Curtis Whitman and them, did they go up to it? What was the purpose of like, so wow, just two dudes find the same vehicle. And that's when the truth, I think, would have come out that no, did Curtis, one of these guys just queried white Elantras. And then it popped up that list. And I think that's what the one list was with when I was like going through like the 12,000. Like, is that what they're talking about that they found it? Like, what do you mean found it? Where's this email? I want to see Daniel Tanego's tip. I want to see Curtis Whitman's tip. I want to see them following the instructions that Payne told them when you come across. Where is that? And so like, that's like the next FOIA. Because Gary Jenkins is selling it to his own staff that they got to Bryan Kohberger, not by how they got to him. And it's like, I think Gary Jenkins wrote this email so that he could try to claim plausible deniability. Why would I write that email? This is it's like, because you've done this before, you know the game. So you're pulling a turtle boy here. You guys, it's just, you got to be able to prove it though, right? I think it proves it itself when Payne gets up there and just says, we did not know Bryan Kohberger existed until December 19th. Thank you. Thank you. And so therefore, you didn't do any of this stuff with, your work didn't begin. So like, when you're putting out that email on November 27th and you're talking about, we have a car that's making loops. Okay. What was that for? It was so you knew what you were doing by me when you made that email. Why would they put all that on email on November 27th? So that they could say that that's how they got that. That email was for the purpose of creating a paper trail for themselves. But they already had his name and did everything on November 25th. And the question should be is, wait, where's the email that you sent Pullman? Oh, yeah, then pull up the Pullman FOIA returns. And then you'll see how Chris Engel is involved in shit on November 25th. I don't know. Let's go look at this one. Let's look at this date. Ready? November 29th. Gary Jenkins student. Nope. Jeff Webb. Football. Go to WSU Police Department Advisory Board meeting. Right there. Parking data or investigation. 9:30 to 10 a.m. Parking data for investigation. Video for investigation. Look at that. Oh, snappy. You see that? That's Gary Jenkins is doing everything. Gary Jenkins was doing everything and making it seem like these guys, hey, just go ahead. And he probably told these guys, go ahead and query stuff, drive around, query it. So November 29th, there it is. Gary Jenkins in the morning. 9 to 9:30 and 9:30 to 10. They're basically like, Gary, you know how this is going to work. We need to have all of our ducks in a row. So we're going to make it seem like we did this investigation and we really didn't, but here we go. And then sure shit, video for investigation. What's that? So we want everything that has to do with that. That's a FOIA right there. And then 9:30 to 10, we want the parking data for investigation. Right there. Tell me they're not lying. Gary Jenkins in the morning sounds like a show. Gary Jenkins. This is Gary Jenkins in the morning. Wow. Any other thoughts? Let's see. Oh, Allie Tally. Allie Tally says, FOIA away, baby. Let's crush these mofos. Thank you. Yes, here we go. Allie Tally says, straight fire. Go get these mofos. Sends a nice Cash App and says, let's do it. Let's go straight fire. Look at this shit. I'm putting in like 10. All right. We're going to use your guys' help. These are the 10 I'm going to do. I'm going to do them all in one. I'm going to be clear and concise here. Whose schedule is this? Gary fucking Jenkins. This piece of shit lying fat fuck. I'm telling you, this schedule right here just got Gary Jenkins in the hot seat with the WSU lawsuit. That's all I gotta say. Ain't a lot of boys named Gary these days. Gary. It's Gary Jenkins. I want to see Don Daniels. Gary Jenkins was on payroll in August. He didn't seem to work a day in August, September, October, and then the first 2 weeks of November. He literally does not say that he's working until November 14th, the day after the homicides. And then he starts calculating and having like, you know, what he's doing. Kissy where I pee, says Lana, you swear like my mother. I bet your mom's a hoot. This is the self-snitching via the schedule. I want to have a, what is it? Okay, so we're going to put these in order here. The MPD briefing on November 25th, 2022. I want to know if there was any email that went out about that. How did Gary Jenkins get the invite? How was that? How was he notified of this? FOIA number 1. FOIA number 2. Did Gary Jenkins blind CC anybody on his email? Gary Jenkins he's a shyster. So FOIA 2 is I want to see Gary Jenkins BCC for his email on Monday, November 28th at 8:42 a.m. And I want to know his location because it says that he was in a meeting. So how is he doing an email at 8:42? Is he just fired off from a mobile device, or how does that work? Okay. FOIA number 3. Okay. Keith C. at Co Whitcomb. We need, this is number 3. I want to see his emails on and from November 14th to December 29th. This Keith guy. Because I have an issue, like, wouldn't the Latah County Sheriff's Office be included in the whole, like, finding this white Elantra? You know what I mean? Wouldn't the same thing be true for, like, the Whitman County Sheriff's Office? Oh, how I hope he BCC'd his personal email, right? You, girl, am I not on it? I'm like, let's see who he BCC'd that. Yeah. We got to know, we got to wonder why why wouldn't you include the sheriff's department from both of those towns? You're just going to tell the Pullman police and the WSU police, but you're going to leave off. So then who's Keith C? Okay. Next. So that's then number 4. Brett Payne's emails from November 13th to December 29th that pertain to this incident. Oh, shit. Brett Payne, come on down, baby. Okay. Number 5 is Danny Vargas emails. Same dates. Same dates. Yes, I had the auto BCC, right? Let's see. Number 6 is Bill Thompson and Molly McMichael emails. Emails, phone calls, text messages, voicemails. I should just add, like, no, we'll leave it at that right now. We'll see what comes back. That's 6. Okay. Now 7 is WSU's daily vehicle mile logs. And I have November 12th, 13th, 25th, 28th, and 29th. Pullman, same thing. MPD, same thing. So it'll be 7, 8, 9. And number 10 is October 28th, Gary Jenkins emails the entire day. Because I want to know what the fuck he's doing in Spokane. Okay, those are the 10. How do we feel about those? Add BCC to that my request. Okay. Well, BCC, Molly's. Okay, BCC. I got you. BCC. And CCC, right? I'm going to open up this ass a little bit. Oh, wait. We have to do Tenego's. Fuck. We're going to have to do 11 and 12. Maybe I'll hold off. This is what I'll do. I'll hold off on the vehicles right now. Even though I would love to know if they were driving around way more on certain days than they ever do. Because I want to see if anybody was following Bryan. I want to see if we can get any vehicles that are following Bryan around because they're driving an extraordinary amount of miles on a certain day. So if I hold off on 789 with the miles, we come back to that. Wait, what did I say I just wanted to do? God damn it. I said I cannot forget to do. Oh, yeah. I need Daniel Tanego and Curtis Whitman. Emails, text, voicemails. November 28th, November 29th, and now January. Oh, and then December 29th through January 5th. Actually, we'll go to 7th. Because after Gary writes that email, before that or after that, Tanego and what's his name should be like, what the hell's going on? So we'll take it to the 11th when she's asking for discovery. Okay. Pattern of life analysis for the investigation, pretty much. I'm trying to be smart about it, though, guys, because if I can be really specific about what I need, then it's a quick inquiry, and I don't have to blow through my 2 hours. You get like some time for free. So, okay. The MPD briefing notification for Jenkins, that should be quick. So it's basically like his email on that day. And then I'm asking for his blind copy on the 28th. I want to see if he has GPS location. I think it's important we know where Gary Jenkins was on November 13th, guys, okay? You think he's being GPSed? We'll leave that one alone right now. We'll see if we have to come back to it. We'll leave him off the GPS, but okay, so we'll leave him off GPS location. With these new vehicles, though, like, I was amazed at what we were able to get off of Proctor with the GPS, though. You never know. Okay, so I want to know how he was notified on the 25th about the MPD briefing. I want to know about number 2 is I want the BCC, if there is one, on his November 28th email at 8:42 a.m. I want to see if he BCC'd anybody. I should be able to have his call log. Amen. 2A is Gary's work call log for November, December 2022. That's outgoing and incoming. That should be pretty impressive. Then November is for his work cell. Okay. Then 3 is who is Keith C? Who is this person? And I would like all of his emails. I'm going to have to do that through, I'm guessing. Oh, I can just do I want them to run a system search with this email. Okay, run system search with this email between November 14th and December 29th, because I want to know why he would ever be CC'd. Okay, number 4 then is Brett Payne's emails from November 13th to December 29th. Okay, to include BCC. CCC attachments. Then Danny Vargas emails. Same thing. Then Bill Thompson and Molly McMichael emails, phone calls, text messages, voicemails. November 13th, even though there shouldn't be any, we don't know until July 2025. Oh, shit. Let's see what that request is going to cost. Then Daniel and Curtis Whitman, emails, text, voicemails, November 28th, 29th, and then December 29th through January 11th. Okay. That's what we're going to type up. And all of it should be all within WSU. Oh, you know what? We have Danny Vargas's. I'm going to have to do that through MPD. Let me think how I can be creative about that. No, we're going to ask for Danny Vargas, any emails with Danny Vargas in the year 2022 before November 13th, because we're going to see who she has a working relationship with. That's what we're going to go after. We're going to see who Danny Vargas has a working relationship with at WSU prior to November 13th. So we want just January 2022 to November of 2022. We want to see who Danny Vargas has a working relationship with at WSU. I should fucking see if any emails are between. Has anybody gone for Coomer Scott Green's emails? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's see what else we have here. All right, you know what? I want to keep these intact. I'm going to end this live. And then if well, you were a killer. I ain't a killer, but don't test me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy. Next again, you guys, what is that song? Is that some Tupac? Tupac Shakur. Tupac. Donna says $10. Go get them, Lana. Thank you so much. Donna says I'm adding to it. Let's do it. If we can just keep this right. They said they're going to have my my Showalter one at the beginning of the week, so I'll probably come out with that on, I'm guessing, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. That's the 2.5 hour one with Showalter. I'm going to actually send him page 506 when they're talking about his apartment being served 2 search warrants. Gooch. Yeah, Gucci. Well, Gooch, you guys, so this is just for WSU. So that's the other thing I got to keep my... With Gooch, you guys want me to see if she has any communications with WSU people? Is that... I don't see that being the case, but I mean, I can ask. I don't see her... I'd rather just see her emails, period, with Idaho State Police. I would love to know what she... You know what? I'm going to call her and see if she'll do maybe she'll do an interview on... I mean, she's not going to come out and be like, yeah, I think that, Dylan's lying or anything like that. I want to ask her what information did she have before she did her interview with Dylan. Like, when you go into interviews like that, like, aren't you supposed to be loaded up with, like, you have to know your subject material. So What you doing over there, Bella? People want to know. Mary says, I hear those dishes in the background and know her brain. Give Bella a hug for me. She has her earbuds in right now, and she's working on subject matter jurisdiction. And I said, what are you doing? What case are you thinking about? Subject jurisdiction. What case you want to talk about? You want to talk about Daryl Brooks. Yes, Daryl Brooks. Is he coming back out of the woodwork? Oh, okay. DM said it was Showalter pretty much, yeah. You know what? I just thought of something. Hello. We need to see if Dylan or Bethany gave a tip. Did they call the tip line in? What do you think? Do you think Dylan or Bethany called the tip line in?
I don't think they needed to, no. I think they had a contact.
So they would just go through.
Yeah.
You think it's worth a gander?
I think you have to put it in that way because.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh my God, that's right. Because of all the tips they have. I would just do a date, which would still cost us about $1,200.
I know.
Yeah, do a date.
Oh, we can. Wouldn't be bad. I'm just curious if they would maybe send a tip anonymously.
Well, then you're not able to ask that. So.
Why would they call the tip line, Mary? Well, because if they didn't trust I don't want to tell the cop because I don't, but here I'll supply the tip, but I'm going to put it in anonymously through,
I think they would have someone else do it anyway.
Yeah. Also the other thing would be is like, okay, so for example, in the Tepe case, I had so much shit I wanted to give over, right? And they're like, yeah, but for the media stuff, they direct you to go put it in through the website that they have so that the media stuff can all be together. So I'm curious if they would have ever directed Bethany or Dylan to, hey, use the FBI portal that we have. That way it gets uploaded appropriately. You know what I'm saying?
Those girls are high on the list of people they want tips from. So they're going to separate chaff from wheat. Like they're going to separate those people.
Let's hear from Josie. Josie's on a vacation. Dude, Josie talked to the Pope. She talked to the FBI. Josie is in no. I mean, I could call her, say, hey, Josie, what's up? You want to talk? But Josie's, all her interviews, I think, were done with the feds. Just like Hunter's was. Just like Emily's was.
You want to do something crazy? Start writing laws to make the feds release information to the public because they are never in any place to. So we need to write laws.
Bella wants you guys to all to start writing laws to pass it through legislation so that the feds cannot keep hiding behind these little bogus for the feds to seriously say that us asking for stuff about Kaylee is you didn't explain to us why the public has an interest in that. It's like, what? The public has what? Do you guys know how many FOIA requests there's been? It's a huge public interest in the murders at the University of Idaho. The fuck you talking about? But for the feds to seriously write some of that back and think that they can just do it and hey, yep, make them go appeal it, and it just shouldn't be a process like this. They make it, never. Okay. I just got gifted a membership to Miss Potts channel. Woo! Josie's on a vacation far away. I'm gonna get over. Karen, so many things that I want to say. Good evening, Land on my firecracker. I'm so late. So starting from the beginning. Can't wait to hear. Oh God, I think there's a lot of good stuff in this in this episode. Also, remember that myself, Anna says $10 to help with the FOIAs. Thank you for all you do. Kimberly says $20 for hi lady. It's your birthday. We're gonna pause. She didn't say that, but I like that. Pav just emailed me, Pavarotti over here, and was like, Lana, there is so much craziness in these new docs that were released. I don't know where to start. You want to do an early collab and discuss? And I said, yeah, let's do it, buddy. So there's just so much in these. Oh, 10 people just turned green. Who got a membership? Let's see. It's always a special Saturday when I come live on Saturdays. I never usually am live on Saturdays. I want to see who got a membership on Saturday. Oh, that's why I missed Pot's live. Good. How do I get to it? Let's go to my channel. I just want to read off who got one. Meryl, Dukes, Paula, The Boogie. Is that the Boogie Joe show? Cool Hand Luke. Is that Llama? Bill, the YouTuber. Freddie, Kevin, Justice Seeker. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Are any of those people in chat? I think we just outed a ton of alt accounts. I'm kidding. Who are you people? No. Well, welcome. You guys are now new members. Thanks to good old Black Cat. Who doesn't love a black cat? Meow. Congratulations. So yes, $999.99. We always say it's $999.99. And I have to get something's going on here in the back of stream right here. If I don't catch it within like the first realm of if you pay like a super chat, I can then not get them. They don't star them anymore for me. And I have to figure out why that's happening. I'm not happy about it. I'm going to have to write StreamYard and let them know about this. You know, we were actually trying to figure out how they choose people, and it's all random, but there's got to be like some type of an algorithm for it. You know, I was always told the more you comment, the better odds you have. Because if I ever watched a YouTube presentation, if I'm there, I usually say hi. So I don't just usually sit back. Like I go somewhere because I want to support the creator and the mods. So very rarely do I go and watch something and then not say anything. I also feel like I'm like I don't know. I just have a complex with that. You know, like I'm like, well, hey, can you please pick up them blinds a little bit? I want to see a little better. Okay, thanks. Did they fire the 911 operator who answered the king? No, they did not. Nope. Nope. No. They're not going to give us information on who that basically was an exit interview was with, but it wasn't her. I think that the person is the person who took the call. Her name was Calvin. First name Calvin. Caroline Calvin. Last name was Calvin. I need a minute there. I find it very easy to rarely comment. At nighttime, you know what? Let me take that back. At nighttime, I don't, because it's just I don't have my device and I'm just listening to something. So, but I'll usually say hi and then, you know, you are a member. What's that? How do you become a member? The last 24. What's up, Mike? Mike, what do you think about these documents? Just like bombs away over here. Lana, you were awesome on the verdict room. Oh, thank you so much. They have it. Who you guys having on tonight, Mike? You guys. Oh, Esther's going to buy some memberships there. Here I go. Again, girls, what's my weakness? Men. Okay, then chilling, minding my business. Did I get it? Name that tune, finish the lyrics, all in. Yeah. I'm going to say that's Shoop. No one break week. Oh, I had no idea. That's actually why I went earlier. Literally, I set my live up today. I was like, oh, they're doing what they do on Saturday night, so I'll go at 1. Fuck, had I known that shit. I might just have to do another feature. No. Yes. All right, cool. Head should be spinning after these documents, you guys. Absolute just Gary Jenkins says it in an email, writes an email and says, hey, the probable cause isn't right. The probable cause isn't right. The probable cause is like off a little bit. Oh, just the 4. Oh, wait, so you guys are doing it? So you guys are, just the 4 of us, but you guys aren't having like a guest, right? Okay. See, there you go. Thank you. I appreciate that comment. That's very kind. I don't know how I'm yawning. Yay, the best year. 12 months Donna Martin graduates. Yes. So they are still live tonight. Go check them out. Maybe I'll be the post-game party then. You guys rock. We still have to go through probably like 1,500 more pages. So, whoo. Thank you for your continued support. All of you guys, thank you. We're going to put in these again. WSU. I think I'm going to do 2, and I'm going to do them in like 2 requests, and there's 5 in each. I'm going to try that versus the 10. Because this way I can get, I don't want them, what I think that they'll do at WSU is they're going to give me the results of them all when they're all done. And so if I do that, then that's going to take a longer time. So if I break them up, I'll even write them that on the, as a message. All right. So we have our 10. Ooh, Gary Jenkins on November 29th, he says that he goes and gets, he had 30-minute, it was video investigation. Videos. So at the 29th right there. Hold on, let me take a look at these one more time right there. Double checking my notes and work. 99. Okay, so 9930 video for investigation. See how it doesn't say, see how it's not plural? Video. What video? We're going to find out. Then 9:30 to 10, parking data for investigation. And that to me is going to be all the permits. That's a permit thing. But why are you waiting till November 29th to go get parking data for and why is Gary Lee Jenkins doing that? Oh, because you're the guy I trust. Gary says, Chief Fry. I don't want. But you guys, during that time frame, that's the time frame that supposedly, like, that's when the night shift people would be getting out, like 7 or 8 in the morning. And that would have been the day that they found the white Elantra and that they're acting like it was such a big deal, but it wasn't because it wasn't accurate. Okay. All right, with this, we will depart. This case got 99 problems, but I got 99 problems, but my brains ain't one. That's what I would say. Lying on our backs, counting the stars. Jamie Foxx. Mm-hmm. A lot of gay men go cruising in parks. That's all I gotta say. Till next time, peace out. Maybe it'll be tonight. But hey, the verdict room, they're talking about the case. Annie Potts is live right now. You know what? How can I send her, everybody? You guys want to go over to Annie Potts? Like, how do I do that? How do I send everybody on over to Annie Potts' live? She's talking about the documents. God. We need a live with continue that song. Lana, you and Juan need to do a collab. Who's Juan? I don't know if he has a channel, but he's on Devil's Advocate a lot. Juan. He's not the guy from like Law and Order. He's got a great personality, and most importantly, he's an NYPD cop just promoted to captain. Oh, that's fucking awesome. Congratulations. That's pretty sweet. He's awesome. Oh, that's good. All right, well, we'll see you guys in the next one. Like I said, Annie Potts is live right now, talking about the case. The verdict room will be live tonight at 6, talking about the case. And I don't know. I think I'm going to be able to get Paparazzi to come on live with me tomorrow. So what a surprise. So join us. All right. Until next time, guys. Peace out.